whom we took and would have judged according to our law. But the chief captain, uh, uh, Lysias, came up upon us and with great violence took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee by examining of whose thyself mayest take knowledge of all these things whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also ascended, saying that these things were so. The Jews are the religious rulers who came down to press charges. Notice he makes subtle uh, insinuations about the way the chief captain handled the case. He cannot charge him with dereliction of duty, but that is a faint breath of criticism to the governor. He says the Jews could have handled this case adequately themselves. He has nothing but flattery for Felix, unjust charges against Paul, and subtle insinuations against Claudius Lysias. Lysias by the charges against Paul. So the charges against Paul are that he is a mover of sedition. He is a leader of a rebellious sect, and he has profaned the temple. Uh, Tertullus presents these charges for the religious rulers. Now Paul makes his defense before Felix, and that ends that section. Now we can move on to section verses 10 through 16. Verse 10. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, for as much as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself. Behold, that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship. Paul is saying that he is delighted to present his case before Felix. He shows that Felix has been a judge of the people for a long time, which means that Felix understands their customs. So, what Paul is going to say will not be something that will be strange or foreign to Felix. And they neither found me in the temple disturbing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogue or nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things which they now accuse me. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they have, uh, which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets. Since Felix understands the customs of the Jews, Paul tells him that he went up to Jerusalem to worship according to their custom. In substance, he says, I am in agreement with my nation. Only I must confess that the way in which I worship God is to them heresy. But Paul makes it clear that the way he worships is according to the message to the fathers, that is the Old Testament, verse 15, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also follow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. Have you noticed that the resurrection is the very center of Christianity? It has been from the very beginning, friend. What think ye of Christ? It all is always the test. Did he die for your sins? Was he raised from the dead? Paul immediately comes to the core, the resurrection, verse 16. And herein do I exercise myself to have also a conscious void of offense toward God and toward men. Paul just testifies that what he has done for the sake of his conscience. And that concludes that section.